The Women's 50 Over World Cup is upon us, and here are some things that you must know about that showpiece event. But before I tell you those 5 very interesting points, don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today for more such content. The point number 1 that you must know is a total number of 8 teams will be participating in this World Cup. New Zealand are the host and they will be playing the first match. It will be New Zealand versus West Indies. And which are the 6 remaining teams of this tournament? Those are England and Australia, the 2 most successful teams of this particular tournament. Apart from that, you've got India and Pakistan, South Africa and Bangladesh. So that makes it a 8-team tournament. What about the TV timings? Well, if you are watching from India, then the matches are going to be started in 2 different times. That will be 3:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time and 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Point number 2 is the format of this tournament. So how are the teams going to be playing each other? There are no groups at this particular edition of the Women's World Cup. It's going to be much like how the Men's 2019 World Cup was. That means each team is going to play the other team. So a total of 8 teams, each of them will play the other team in the round robin format. At the end of the round robin stage, the top 4 teams, as far as the points are concerned, are going to qualify for the semi-finals. How are the points going to be given? If you win an encounter, then you get 2 points. In case of a no result or a tie, then you get 1 point. So you have the top 4 teams qualifying for the semi-final. How do they play the semi-final? Well, the top team in the round robin stage will play team number 4 and the second team will play team number 3. As I said, much like the 2019 Men's World Cup, where India played New Zealand, 1 played 4 and England 2 and Australia 3. So that's how they played the semi-final. That is exactly the format that the Women's World Cup will also see. Point number 3 is India's record in this tournament. So remember, India are playing their first game on Sunday. Mark your calendars for that, 6th of March. And it's going to be a big game because it is the 2 rivals in India and Pakistan that will be playing that encounter. Indian time, it is going to start at 6:30 a.m. What has been India's record? India has never won the Women's World Cup. However, they finished as runners-up 2005. And then you would remember in 2017 as well, where they lost a very close final to host England by just 9 runs. You'd also remember the semi-final where Harmanpreet Kaur smashed 171 versus Australia to take India into the final. In this particular edition of the tournament, India aren't coming in with some great form. So the favorites are going to be the likes of Australia as well as England and New Zealand. But India still could be in there as far as the semi-final spot is concerned. Point number 4 is, while India may have never won this tournament, let's take a look at the most successful teams at the Women's World Cup. Remember, this is the 12th edition of the tournament. The previous 11 editions have been divided between 3 teams essentially. The number 1 spot goes to Australia. They have won the tournament the most number of times, that is 6 times. Australia have been crowned champions. Next comes in England with 4 titles to their name, and the 3rd spot goes to New Zealand that have won 1 title. So that makes it the 11 titles that have been decided before this. The 12th edition is going to get underway now. Our number 5 point pertains to the prize money of the tournament. The winner of this edition of the Women's World Cup is going to get a whopping $1.32 million. That's roughly around 10 crore in Indian rupees. So what is it that the other teams are going to get? If you finish as the runner-up, then you're going to get close to 4 crore Indian rupees. If you finish as a semi-finalist, as a losing semi-final, then you get somewhere around 2.2 crore Indian rupees. And even if you do not make the semi-final, for every participating team in this edition of the Women's World Cup, each team is going to get a minimum of around 54 lakh rupees. So that's a huge prize money. Remember, it's an increase of almost 75% compared to the last edition that took place in 2017.